Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks. Welcome to Tone Talks.
How's everybody doing today? This is Attorney Antonio Moore. I'm here to have this discussion to talk about both Diddy and the Super Bowl ad that he has coming out with Uber, and also to talk about these Beyonce tickets that are on sale for exorbitant amounts. Many people going without paying their rent, struggling to understand why this hysteria exists. And I'm going to explain that in the context of policy. We're going to revisit the Telecom Act with me cutting in a part of the last show to explain that. We're going to revisit the context of Uber and how it came about under Obama and what it actually is, which is a liquidation of your car. That's all it is. You're micro liquidating your car to survive. You don't run a business. We're going to talk about Beyonce's last, I guess, concert tour with JayZ and how the tickets wasn't sold. So they're gonna make you buy a ticket for $400 and mess around and the tickets be free outside because there ain't nobody in here. Let's talk about it. Let's get right to the discussion. So we're looking at this discussion about not just Diddy and Beyonce, but about the decadent veil of Black celebrity. I wrote about this 2014 Huffington Post, explaining how basically both Blacks and whites are confused about race, and they've mechanized and used Black celebrity as one of the main tools to create that confusion. So you can't see that white people have $130 trillion in wealth and Blacks have nearly none when you take out the Black boomer retirees because of Black celebrity. And it's not accidental. What do you need a hood for if you can use Black celebrity to make it so don't nobody ask for nothing? Let me say it again. What do you need a white hood for to run around and keep Black people from gaining any resources, doing any politics? If Black celebrity can make it so they don't ask for no politics, no way, because they full up on aspiration. Can I talk today? Can I get to it? If we are full on Black excellence, we won't ask for no Black politics. We know about the what's going on. For those people that have not followed this show, I'm gonna try to do a primer. But basically, I believe that Diddy, JayZ, even Beyonce to some extent, are moving out of music and into poverty exploitation. From liquor to Uber, JayZ and Beyonce were allowed to invest in Uber early on. I'll cover that later. Uber being the exploitation of people who are struggling by taking away their labor rights without them understanding what they're signing up for, which is selling their own car, pieces of the car's depreciation through the drives. But they were allowed to invest early to basically, I believe, normalize it amongst the general Black, particularly ADOS Black population. Oh, JayZ and Beyonce are involved. It must be okay. It wasn't okay, and it's still not okay. Diddy's not doing a Super Bowl commercial for that same Uber because all he does is sell poverty exploitation to me at this point. Ciroc and liquor, they don't allow the advertising in France, but they can advertise it here. They make it no protections, no policy, and we got this whole concept of Black excellence. We're gonna move from the Diddy discussion into the Beyonce discussion. In between that, I'm gonna add a section about the Telecom Act, but I want to let everybody get in here and give their piece of it. Thank you so much, Kim, for the support. I see you with your baby. Hopefully your baby gets to watch some of this later on so that we can understand what's going on. So we got Diddy doing a Super Bowl commercial for Uber to validate Uber. That's all this is about, to normalize Uber. He done dyed his hair Black. You remember that it's gray and Black, but he dyed it Black, so he's the same Diddy. Again, we'll get into the Telecom Act and why you're so wound up in Diddy and Beyonce. You think it's because the music good. No, it's because they told you to be wound up in them through the Telecom Act. Clear Channel. All the stations owned by the same people. So I want to get into this discussion, but to do that, I have to dig a little deep. And for some of you guys, you're gonna have to move out of your ego, out of your Diddy, Beyonce ego, and understand you might not know enough to have this discussion. So all you can do is listen. But you can't listen if you're so busy listening to Beyonce's little album, Renaissance. You can't listen if you still got Diddy's outfit on doing More Money, More Problems in the house. So what I need you to understand is that you might need to step back and understand this is a game that's afoot. And you are the hare, not the shooter with the gun. You ain't the hunter. And I say this because what this Uber commercial is, this Uber Eats, you know, if you go to a Chick-fil-A or you go to a McDonald's, all you see is black folks, some other folks too, but far too many black folks coming and dropping off food, liquidating their car, not understanding depreciation, nor many of them not paying the taxes to survive. This is ridiculous poverty exploitation. Hashtag ADOS. Some people will say, well, they chose to do it. Well, if you take away the unemployment and make them do that, they didn't choose, they were forced to. If you take away their ability to assess labor rights, because you make Uber and gig jobs so normal, they don't understand the consequences till they get terminated by Uber. Then they don't understand. And the way you do it is him. I don't want to hear nothing else from him. So people go back, you know, Killer Mike, I'm supposed to go on the stage. He Instagrammed that I'm coming on the stage. I want that work. Because I was going to tell him the truth. See, everything that gets shut out, the California reparations bill, all that stuff, because I'm coming with the truth. No BIPOC, no Diddy love. I'm coming with the truth that you are the problem. Your Ciroc, your Uber ad, you are the problem. You ain't nothing but Smokey Robinson, 10 years younger. Can we talk? Gasms. Smokey got the gasms. Diddy got the Uber. We in here. I'm letting everybody fall in. Please subscribe. Press the bell. Share this. 310-388-3499. I want to hear from you. But let me set up the show. The queue is already filling up before I even gave the number out. Diddy and this money came about right at the same time as you look at Reagan and lifestyles of the rich and famous. And then you have Diddy come after, and he anchors himself in this rising need for aspiration. He anchors himself in your own inability to succeed. He doesn't give you politics. I don't want to hear about vote or die. Because he got the same picture with Trump that he got with Obama that he got with, okay, he do anything. He sell Uber. He show you the money. If you're a billionaire, why you got to show us money? You got money. That don't make no sense. Well, you show us money because you are basically placating to the lowest denominator to make them think that you still cool and you still the know and that you the one. Hold on. I got the image right here. Right here. Boom. Boom. I am a vibe curator. That's what he say. So Diddy say he a vibe curator. He sell that he can make you Uber Eats, drive it and do it till your car fall apart to Uber. It's so crazy. Come on. Y'all see it. That you don't even understand. He gonna use a Montel Jordan song to do it. Diddy recruits Montel Jordan, Khalees, and more to make a hit song for Uber One and new Super Bowl ad. Jordan reworks This Is How We Do It. How many people remember This Is How We Do It in the chat? In the chat, how many of y'all remember This Is How We Do It? Give me a guess how long ago you think This Is How We Do It came out. Give me a guess in the chat. How long ago do you think This Is How We Do It came out? Well, it ain't come out in 15. I don't remember it coming out in 05. It wasn't out in 2000. 20 years ago, Kwame? 20 years ago. 20 years ago is 03. Well, that song came out, as I understand it, in 95. For many of y'all, you can't tell time because of the Telecom Act and because of the way that they flattened time along with flattening blackness. So they flattened everything about your life and gave you nothing. They flattened blackness. They flattened time. We all the same. But then Diddy got to eat off your failure and then sell you back pieces of those crumbs. Sean Diddy Combs is tasked. No, it ain't C. Harris. It ain't 20 years ago. You could do the math. If it came out in 95, that's damn near 30 years ago. So they're going to use a 30-year-old song that really ain't no like classic. It's like some pop song to sell Uber to you. Sean Diddy Combs is tasked with making a hit song for Uber One in an upcoming commercial set to air during Super Bowl on Sunday. The advertisement during the Super Bowl on Sunday. The advertisement opens with Diddy in a boardroom where he asked, he big boss, where he asked to soundtrack the company next campaign. He gonna sell it to everybody. before showing the Grammy winner in the studio with Montel Jordan, Khalees, Donna somebody, and Hathaway, remixing their hit songs to fit Uber One's message. Look, man, at some point, y'all gonna understand that all they doing is poverty exploitation. This Uber nonsense, trash, given to us by Obama and Tom Perez, his labor secretary at the time, totally divesting your anchoring and understanding labor rights. Many of you are now crazed about labor. You don't understand. You like, I work at home. Do you got health insurance? Please have health insurance. We all don't have no retirement. They took away all the pensions. We gonna get old. Y'all understand that, right? I need to talk about it. Your feet hurting and you're driving Uber and you celebrating Diddy. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Dwayne calling from Atlanta.
So Dwayne, give me your take on Diddy selling this Uber to us. And now we go back, and I want to briefly just contextualize what Uber is basically you liquidating the lug nut, the windshield, you selling the depreciation of your car, and the price is the drive. They're not paying you to run no business. They will deactivate you if you get, I hear, 3-star complaints. So you got 3 stars because somebody got a bad attitude. And at the end, you don't have no retort. Hey, I didn't do nothing wrong. Hey, you deactivated. We don't got time for that. You don't have no rights. And that's what he's selling to you. Exploitation. Give me your take on it.
Well, first, I want to let you know, Dwayne, from the tweet about the lottery that you tweeted about, but concerning Diddy, everything you say is completely true. I actually considered driving Uber years back when I needed 2 jobs basically to pay for my life in Los Angeles.
Come on, man.
But when I looked into it, I just realized it was basically a scam. It was just going to, like you said, liquidate my car. I even worked with a guy who actually did Uber, and he ran one car into the ground and ended up getting another car. And then he said at the end of the year, he got notified by the government that he owed taxes because he was listed as a business. So it just completely turned his life upside down.
And Diddy ain't nowhere to be found after he sold this to you. Now, I will add in what a lot of people don't understand is it's hard to get parts to fix cars now. Interest rates are on average 12% for cars with good credit, used cars. Understand that your car is now, it's like a gold jewel to get you places. And they ain't told you none of that. Got you out here depreciating a car that you can't replace. They can care less. But Diddy gonna sell it to you, and you gonna love him tomorrow because you like Montel Jordan's song. I don't know. So, I look at this thing and I ask the question, at what point will Black people turn on Black celebrity? At what point will Black people understand, and what you're the person from this tweet. I was gonna use it later, so I'll pull it up now because you're the guy. I didn't want to get, so you're the guy, Dwayne, from this tweet. Dwayne had a tweet that he put up. And I shared it in context of Beyonce's tickets. Somebody said they paid $4,300 for Beyonce's tickets. Well, Dwayne had said in a tweet prior, disassociated, that he had spent $40 a month in California for 7 years on the lottery. And finally realized that after the 7 years that it was a waste. And I was explaining to him, we got to add that up. That's $3,300. And I asked the question, what's the difference between that and the Beyonce ticket? Dwayne, go ahead and speak on it.
There really is no difference. Both of it. It's foolish for me to spend all that money that I really didn't have on the lottery, and it's to me foolish to spend all that money on a ticket for a Beyonce concert.
Come on.
At the time, I figured I needed the money to basically pay for a car, pay for 3 student loans I had, pay for my rent all by myself. Hey, let me give it a shot. I think, well, $10 a month, $10 a week, $40 a month isn't that bad. I figured.
That's how they do it, though. They give it to you. They give it to you in pieces. Let me show you how they're gonna do you with the Beyonce tickets. To give you an example, look, they got this for the Beyonce tickets. If you got your TV up at a show right now, Ticketmaster will let you use Affirm to buy the Beyonce tickets. Let's read this. If you pay it off in 4 payments, just real fast and about less than a month and a half or so, ain't no interest. All right. But if you do it 6 months, it's gonna be 15% interest. And if you do it in 12 months, it's going to be 15% interest. If the tickets is $1,000, they want us to give them another, plus the processing fee. Don't forget that. So they're willing to let you break it up. And the reason you let people break it up is they can't count. So Uber making so you can't count depreciation nor taxes. Beyonce got the tickets where you can break it up where you can't count. The lottery got it broken down where it's the $10 here and $15 there. They are milking you so you don't understand your struggle. Go ahead.
They sure are, because that's the way I look at it. I refuse to actually look at what the total cost would be. That's why I saved all my tickets in a box. Later on, when I actually pulled them all out, added them all up, and figured out how much I was spending, I was like, yeah, I can't do this. This is totally insane. But the point is, when I'm spending $10 here, oh, I got $10 this week. It's nothing. I don't need to buy this. I can pay online. I may win millions of dollars when I actually knew I wasn't going to win millions of dollars. There's no way I was going to win. It was just desperation that I felt for being ADOS in America with no money and no inheritance.
Man, let me ask you this. If you could tell Diddy one thing about this Super Bowl commercial without cursing, what would you say?
I would kind of be speechless that as a grown man at his age, like you said, still around after all these years, standing in the way of other people's lives, how he can basically just support something like this that basically steals from people.
Yeah, and I appreciate you calling, setting it off. Thank you so much for your tweet as well. I'm gonna use it later on, but I'm glad I got to get to it, start framing this thing, because I think for a lot of people they're gonna get lost in the sauce and start talking about misogyny air or something about like the beats in Beyonce's album, or I don't know. We're talking about wealth. We're talking about ethnicity. We're talking about race in the context of America. We're talking about reparative justice. We're talking about Black celebrity being a decadent veil. We're talking about empowerment porn. Y'all know about that. So the reason that Diddy works, the reason the commercial ain't about Uber, it ain't people getting in the car. It ain't got nothing to do with that, because he gonna sell you empowerment porn. He gonna sell you this. And so they get him to sell you that, and he scream and jump around. The only problem is he's not 25 no more. He's 56 or damn near 60 or something. I need you guys to understand this commercial, Uber as a whole investment, it sits on top of exploitation. This is an article, and now, albeit it's about an article about the England, but it fits our narrative as well. Uber is treating its drivers as sweated labor, says the report. Uber treats its drivers as Victorian-style sweated labor, with some taking home less than minimum wage, according to a report into its work conditions based on the testimony of dozens of drivers. When you add in the depreciation, when you properly do the taxes, it don't make no sense. And the whole banking is that because you'll be stuck on this, you won't even think about counting. A lot of us just need to be doing W-2 work. We can't do all that maneuvering for what? I need you guys to see it, because y'all gonna see this commercial and y'all should be born the commercial. But it's not just Diddy. It's also JayZ and Beyonce. Back when Uber focus was still black cars, JayZ agreed to invest $2 million in the fledgling company. That's an outlay for an angel investor, particularly an entertainer. I believe that Beyonce also invested at that phase as well, and they made quite a sum on the backs of people losing their livelihoods, losing their cars, losing their lives, because it's about poverty exploitation. It ain't business. How many Armand the Bronx liquors we gonna sell? How much rent to own we gonna do, JayZ? Everything we do is exploitation now. That is what you get when you start off with a high school dropout that sold crack cocaine. Unless in y'all seeing something different, that level of exploitation is expected. But Diddy said he a vibe curator. That's what he gonna do. He gonna sell them the vibe and the energy. But this is who bears the cost. She was pregnant and broke. She signed up for Uber and fell into debt. Young woman, Maya Warren, I believe in Chicago. She was paying her student loans and everything, trying to do Uber, got pregnant. No, ain't no health insurance. It ain't no America in Uber. It is not an American paradigm. It is almost akin to something you will find in developing countries. And we brought that here under Barack Obama and supported it. But we were so busy with our hands up with this, we didn't even know that was going on. How many of y'all got your hands out, ready to give Beyonce your thousands of dollars? You already gave her your Uber support. The idolization of celebrity may be the death of ADOS black politics. Let me say that again. The idolization of celebrity, particularly black celebrity, may be the death of Adolph's black politics. Because all these people do is audition and promise that they're going to shut down the politics. They're going to redirect it to BIPOC. They're going to let Uber in and do a co-sponsored black business thing with Uber. How you going to do black business with an Uber that's exploiting black people? That's all they do. The gig economy, this is an article someone did. You can support it or not. But what he said, his view, the gig economy is white people discovering servants. So they'll sit up and talk to you about being a liberal and order Grubhub from your son who got to go all the way across town to bring it and then make $1 or $2. And he can't count. He don't take no 60 cents out for taxes. Come on. But they nice though. I need you to talk. I need you to see it. Please support the channel. ToneTalks.net. Please support the channel. Thank you so much, P. I see you in there. Support the channel. You can go on ToneTalks.net or you can support here. Your choice. You might want to stay private. So when I say Uber is a creation of Obama, you can look at the timeline. It comes about under Obama's presidency. The man that you elected that said no to reparations did not block the thing that gutted your labor rights. But Uber was the doorway to gig economy. Gig economy is the shucking of labor laws, hundreds of years of labor laws. Then a lot of his staff went from working for him to work for Uber. You got David Plouffe, who gave them their whole kind of marketing structure in a way. The Obamization of Uber. You got Diddy with the Obama shirt doing the vote or die stuff. These people don't know shit about politics. These people know nothing about politics. You guys took a high school dropout and said, I don't want to listen to nobody that went to UCLA and studied political science. You guys took a high school dropout and said, I don't want to listen to an Yvette Carnell that graduated from Howard and worked as a political aide. Because what she's talking about is too divisive. This is black excellence. And that made me feel good. Can't we all just be business people? Somebody got to do the work, though. And that's going to be your son, your daughter, driving around at 3 a.m. with a stranger behind them while you celebrate this commercial. Can we get to it? He having a good time, though. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Hello?
Yeah, so what's going on?
Hey, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling out of Philly, man. How you feeling today?
I'm all right. I'm over here. I'm starting with the Uber. I'm gonna move over to the Beyonce tickets in a second. These expensive tickets. But I want to know what would you say to Diddy? He over doing this Uber commercial on the Super Bowl, and you know.
Okay, so I want to touch on something you said earlier about I did live at one point, right? And I actually made more, and I stopped doing Lyft because it messed up my taxes. And so I started.
Wait. You got to stop there, because that's what a lot of people who do it say. They'll say I made money, but then they say you didn't make money, you didn't do the taxes, or they'll say I made a lot of money, but then they won't realize that you didn't add the depreciation yet. So like, when your car fall apart, you didn't make money. That money now has to be paid to the car. Yeah, you make front end money. You liquidated the car and you got the money. But then you got to eventually sell the thing you liquidated. Go ahead.
Right, well, that and the upkeep, it's a lot of maintenance.
Yep.
When you're doing that, like it's like a lot of maintenance. If you decide to keep up on it, you don't have to. But I would spend a lot of money on oil changes. I had to get my brakes changed. I think it was maybe 3 times in like a year.
Yeah, but that's because your car is meant for that. Your car is not meant for that. See, the reason you work for a taxi company is because that's their car. You get in their car and they got a commercial level insurance, and then you just drive the taxi all day and they pay you a rate. When you start moving into this, it's Uber basically having you do the same thing, but then not wanting to take the taxi responsibility. So it don't make no sense no more. But see, the convergence with policy is that Barack Obama is the person you elected to office. He already didn't do nothing really for you. He didn't. But he didn't even block the massive exploitation of you and your children. So now you fighting with your own child, not about stray bullets, not just about stray bullets, and you're fighting with them to explain the gig economy because they grew up in this. How you tell your kid not to get an electric car from Hertz? You can't. You ain't got no money. So you have elected your own failure. Go ahead.
Okay, so the other thing that I did was I stopped driving Lyft. I got a weekend job at Target, and it was only on Fridays and Saturdays, 10 to 6:30, and I actually made more, and I got more back in my taxes because it was a W-2 job. So that second job, because Lyft was my second, it was like my side. I thought it was my side hustle, but I was like Lyft's side hustle. You know what I'm saying? I was their side hustle. They wasn't my side hustle.
Yeah, they just don't tell you because you got to pay both sides of your Social Security. You got to pay both sides. It don't make no sense. And it's sad that Obama being in office, nobody really connects this and hangs this on that man's head because a whole generation of Adolf's people are set up to fail as a result.
I want to draw a connection between that and the ADOS disinformation thing, right?
Well, I don't want to get off that topic with that because I got so much to do. Go ahead.
They ended up with more jobs. Their failure wasn't acknowledged, and they weren't punished for their obvious failures. They were rewarded for their obvious failures. So in some ways.
But what do you expect if you reward Diddy? Meaning not you individually. I'm talking about socially. Go under the tweet that he put out. Nobody is saying nothing like this is not okay. Like they don't. I don't know. When I went to South Africa, the young people that were like 14 to like 16 on the streets, if you talk to them, they're so much more advanced than here than like a 40-year-old. Meaning, literally, when I bring up Uber, you shouldn't fight me to support Uber. I can't fight you to do politics for you. And I'm not saying you did that. I'm saying socially, generally, it's not just about that, what you were bringing up. It's also about we have decided celebrities are going to have more than us. I ain't going to go with that. Y'all can. We have decided that this man who really don't know a lot is going to have $1 billion or tell us that, whatever. And it make no sense and never decide to boo him down. You have every ability to, but you don't.
I think that we have a delusion where we can live vicariously through celebrity.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, all right, I know you're going to go to the Beyonce thing. I've seen a tweet with the Beyonce service charge. Just the service charge for the ticket's like $556. Just the service charge, right? That's half my mortgage. So, not the ticket is half my mortgage. The service charge associated with buying the ticket is half my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insane that a regular person would feel the need to purchase something like that. That's crazy.
Well, let me say this, bro. You always support me, but I want to get to the queue because I got a full one, and I appreciate you calling, man. I agree with you. It's expensive. Beyonce fans enraged. He brought us right here. As some tickets cost more than a month's rent. Beyonce tickets went on sale this morning, but with some costing more than a month's rent. Fans were left questioning the economic basis of our society. So y'all gonna question it now. Tone Talk's been telling you for 10 years. What do you think the decadent veil was? Beyonce fans have been left worrying about their bills as the first tickets went on sale for her upcoming tour. The O2 pre-sale for her UK tour dates opened this morning, causing fans to hover their cursor over Ticketmaster card in hand while refreshing the page. Priority tickets for Beyonce's 3-night residency started at £55, but VIP experiences cost £2,400. All right. So that's $2,500. Me, after I sold my house, cat, dog, car, clothes, and sold to see Beyonce at her Renaissance tour. you got to question, like, if this is your friend, if everything's all right. We can't normalize crazy because everybody around you crazy. Somebody be like, what's wrong? How is that crazy? When we get to this point, we're living on hysteria. We're living on hysteria to escape our reality. We're avoiding politics by covering up with some kind of nonsense. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the Beyonce tickets I can find, the courage to stay within my budget, and then the wisdom to know the difference. What are we even talking about? And we're talking about it, and everybody can have their opinion with an album that a lot of people said wasn't even that good. Beyonce's new album kind of sucks. Now, it's your sales plummeted after the first week of its release. You can have your own opinion, but it damn sure wasn't the best performance of her. What are we even talking about? We looking at this thing, and I come back to Dwayne, who called in earlier. I used to play $40 a month in CA lottery tickets for maybe 7 years. It was what I could spare. All right. I don't agree you could spare that. I dropped every losing ticket in a box. In 2018, I calculated what I spent over the years. It wasn't a huge amount. So I had to go back and actually do the calculation for Dwayne. That actually is a huge amount in voluntary tax, because that's all the lottery is. Total is $3,300. When we measured a few years ago, the middle black family nationally was worth $2,000 liquid. Beyonce has tickets that are $2,400, and the middle black family across the nation can be worth like $2,000 liquid. Beyonce tickets $4,300. The saga is over from Kaylin Allen. So this man who was on the Ellen show and everything will tell you about and sister girl you to death. That's how he keep you interested and show you his tickets. How about you just keep your prices to yourself and go to the concert? You got to show us the actual thing to show us that you got money. I need everybody to see what's going on. The cruelest tax of all, how cynical lottery rule make jackpots bigger, so they're going to show you the $1 billion and all that, but chances of winning smaller and unfairly targets the poor. We don't understand the median net worth of I believe this is liquid cash is $8 in Boston. In Miami, it's $11 for native blacks, ADOS blacks. In LA, it's $200. But we're going to spend money on these tickets. Yvette said, I think all these concert prices are exorbitant. They have been for some time, but this is hyper exploitive. Talking about this Beyonce capitalism after paying homage to the socialist Panthers. Y'all let these celebrities do anything. And I have to agree. And part of the reason you're doing it, whether you understand it or not, is the Telecom Act. Tone, what are you talking about? See, I'm not going to revisit it and go over all of it today. I'm going to go to the last show and cut that in about a 4-minute section, and then we'll come back and I'll take a few callers. Let's get right to it. The mechanization of our programming, and it's not on a conspiracy level, it's just the truth of the convergence of technology and policy. I want you to keep listening. Thank you so much for calling. Keep listening. I'm going to talk about the Telecom Act right now. And I've talked about it before, but it's important to understand why you think the way you think. You don't know that you're being told to be who you are. Bill Clinton's Telecom Act 20 years later, this is back in 2016. So before the Telecom Act, everybody has to understand, we had black radio. People like Stan the Man and What's Up, it was real. They had black radio owned in like Tennessee and Memphis and Los Angeles, little black radio stations. And at night it was talk radio like the way Martin was. What happened in 96 when Bill Clinton, and I'm going to go into specifics, comes about with the Telecom Act, it leads to a monopolization, and Clear Channel comes in and buys up all the radio and tells us we're going to have Diddy forever. So you might be watching Diddy like Smokey Robinson and so you really already are. You watching Diddy do the same thing Smokey Robinson doing, trying to clown Smokey. Smokey wanted a piece of that too, but he came too early. He wanted a piece of that, I'm going to be young forever. And I'm telling you right now, that this Telecom Act, it was serious business. So what is the Telecom Act? What are you talking about? What are you saying? Well, when black people own their own radio stations, talk radio was at night, so we used it for political education. We ain't gonna play all day and all night. When they bought it, they just made it Hot 100 programming. It also made it so you're gonna get the same artists for decades. We done poured some value into these artists, whether they on CBS or on Clear Channel, and we ain't gonna let you let go of them. We gonna make you understand that they still young even. So the goal of the law was to let anyone enter any communications business. It's the Telecommunication Act of 96. Compete in any market against any other. The legislature's primary goal was deregulation of the converging broadcasting and telecommunication markets. In many ways, the Telecom Act failed to serve, and again, this top part is the Wikipedia, and the bottom part is from this article, Bill Clinton's Telecom Law, 20 years later from the Hill. In many ways, the Telecom Act failed to serve the public and did not deliver on its promise of more competition, more diversity, lower prices, more jobs, and a booming economy. The group said instead, the public got more media concentration, less diversity, and higher prices. And again, people like Stan the Man sold their stations, and essentially they got bought up by Clear Channel. The Telecommunications Act of 96 gave us bad cell service, expensive cable. When Congress passed the Telecommunications Act of 96, it didn't seem like a big deal. That an act that was meant to save consumers money on cable bills and phone service, the Telecom Act passed through Congress with flying colors, earning yay votes from 91 of the 100 senators and about 95% of the House of Reps. And yet, 20 years later, the Telecom Act has led to all sorts of media BS, like the conglomeration of radio by Clear Channel, now also known as iHeartMedia, much to the dismay of all sentient adults, the continuing rise of cable, cell phone and internet pricing, and the disillusion of local newsrooms everywhere. What went wrong and why? Should you, a person who just wants to sign on to Netflix, turn into a lump and watch Masters of None? You can read this whole article, the Telecommunications Act of 96, here by typing this in. But finishing the bullet points, what did the Telecom Act of 96 do? Lifted the limit on how many radio stations one company could own and made the possible creation of radio giants like Clear Channel with more than 1,200 stations. Because it used to be you could only own 3 stations in the company. And that's what we needed. We need those kind of like protections against monopolization. Lifted from 12 the number of local TV stations any one corporation could own, and expanded the limit on audience reach. These changes spurred huge media mergers and greatly increased media concentration. Deregulated cable rates. Between 96 and 2003, those rates have skyrocketed, increased by nearly 50%, and permitted the FCC to ease cable broadcast co-ownership rules. So this is what you're dealing with when you see these old people rapping, is that they're the extension of the arms of companies using their branding, using the money they poured into them to make you guys calm about the whole thing because you love them. So many of you don't understand. Beyonce is still here because of the Telecom Act. It's been too long. So is Diddy, and so are JayZ. They are the creations of policy, not your artistic love. They are the creations of policy. They were chosen at a specific moment and made you be stuck in a time machine. And all they got to do is just say verses and a couple lyrics, and you go right in like Bucky on Avengers. Right back to being 15, like you watching 106 in Park. They got you programmed. They got you so programmed that you don't understand that you ain't supposed to use your rent money to buy Beyonce tickets. Let me take another caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, Tone. This is Vaughn from Detroit.
Vaughn, hold on. Listen to this. Go ahead, be quick. I'm gonna take another caller and share it with them. Go ahead.
Okay, first off, that Telecom Act. Before it came to be, before it came into existence, people like you and the vet, we used to actually hear you on the radio. You'll be at the other end at the very end of the dial, but we was picking you up and listening to you. Matter of fact, Farrakhan used to be on the radio. He held nothing back. Well, that's one thing I remember about Farrakhan was saying. He always said those white doubles. You heard him all the time. That's that topic. Moving on. I've been doing Uber and DoorDash since August as a little side hustle to make extra money. And you're right. It's a scam because I got 2 cars. I had to put on both in the shop and all that extra gas. So I'm going to sit here and do my taxes this year. For last year, from the Uber, I got to pay taxes on that money too I made. So I'm thinking I'm going to end up being in a hole behind that for the extra gas, the repairs, and the taxes are owed. So that was going to be a loss.
So I'm gonna give you one last thing to say to me. What would you tell Diddy about this commercial if you could say something to him without cursing?
Diddy is a scam artist. I got nothing good to say about him. I know who his father was. His father was a dope dealer back in the 70s. He got killed. Diddy is a hustler. They all hustlers. And all they do is scam us out of as much as they can. So, I got nothing good to say about Diddy. I was never really, once I get to feel who he is, I got nothing good for him.
Man, look, I got a full queue, so I'm going to let you go. But, you just dropped a whole bunch of knowledge. See, he had owned his cars and still didn't make no money. So if you out here paying a car note, you really don't understand. You are getting paid by getting to drive your car. That's your pay. The only way you really making money is if you don't pay your taxes and you don't really take out depreciation, which means that you're just not counting. And that's the whole business model. To me, the business model is built on burning through people until they realize and count and find out that they don't have nothing. And that's what Diddy's selling to you. But then you got Beyonce, and she's here with the Telecom Act, and y'all so crazy that all they got to do is start singing Single Ladies, and you do this. You lock up. Your whole body lock up. Whole body lock up when they say Single Ladies because they programmed it with that Telecom Act. And I come back to it, and I take another caller because I'm going to read this to the caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Juanita. I'm calling from Atlanta.
Perfect. This is who I wanted anyway. Juanita, let me read this to you. Everything you own in a box to the left, to 22-year-old reveals she is about to be evicted. And this is an older article from 2016. About to be evicted after spending her rent money on tickets to Beyonce's Formation tour. The story seems to have resonated with other fans of the Halo singer, as China Emoji's packed suite was soon being shared by thousands. China claims that every word of the story is true. It is real. I got an eviction letter and everything. What's your take on these Beyonce tickets?
Just for shits and giggles, when the tickets came out, I live here in Atlanta, so I said, I'm going to see how much Beyonce tickets cost. That's when they still had some. The cheapest tickets that I found were around $1,000, and that was up in the balcony. And the floor seat that went for over $11,000. If you were in the front of the floor. And then, but to get in the back of the floor, I think it was like $5,000. Which really wouldn't see anything because everybody would be standing up in front of you. So I'm thinking, and then when I really knew it was shady because the tickets came up, and then that rip-off finance company, a firm, came up with a little banner saying, can buy Beyonce tickets from as little as $85 a month. So
people are going into debt. People are literally now going into debt at 15% interest to buy these tickets. And nobody's connected anything to say how awful this is. I believe, Juanita, I'm going to ask two questions. I'm going to say something, I'm going to ask you a question. I believe these people have moved out of music into poverty exploitation, from liquor to Uber to even their concerts themselves being a form of exploitation. I believe that they programmed a lot of blacks, and I'm not talking conspiracy, I'm just talking about the Telecom Act, it's so dangerous. I mean, I go back to what I said about liquor in France. This should be treated the same way in terms of like they programmed blacks that were locked out of opportunity to see this through aspiration, and now they don't even know that they're programmed, and they're doing things that are dangerous to themselves, and there's no policy to actually undergird blocking these things, blocking the fees. They talk about fees on credit cards with Biden. What about the fees with Ticketmaster? Blocking that it shouldn't be a firm. If you can't pay, you don't get to go. They should not allow a firm to be on Ticketmaster. What would you say to Beyonce? I asked people about 2 men about Diddy. What would you say to Beyonce if you could say something to her about this concert, these tour concert tickets?
I would tell her that she needs to be ashamed of herself. That she's pricing these tickets like they are. That's the purpose of having sponsors on your concert tour. If she's got sponsors, real sponsors, and she still is charging these kind of ticket prices,
Somebody said that, and somebody was talking about Europe. Somebody asked how much were Michael Jackson tickets, and I'm not saying this is over like every ticket, but like somebody that was in Europe said that in the 90s it would be the equivalent of like £100. How much did you pay?
I went to see Michael Jackson, and the tickets were a little over $100.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. So I mean the ridiculousness of this. But see, I come back to what they've done now, Juanita, is they've made a whole population of black people, of Americans at large, but it doesn't impact whites in the same way because of inheritance and wealth and number of factors we've talked about. But they've made it so nobody can count. So if you can't count, you don't understand that this is cost apprehensive. Then in addition, you don't even like this album. She gonna perform other songs. Like what?
I'm gonna go even deeper than that though. See, Tom, going to concerts and things like that is a luxury. That's something you're supposed to do after you pay all your bills. If your mentality has been so screwed up, if people that going to a concert is a need, therefore I should finance it, that means your mind is already messed up right there.
Well, I mean, you're using your rent money and you're getting evicted. I mean, we know where your mind is at. We know. I mean, I'm saying to you, I understand, Juanita. What I'm saying to you is once you introduce, let me say it more clear because I want to connect it all. Because the Beyonce tickets and the prices connect back to Diddy and Uber and the gig economy, which connects to Obama. Let's tie it all together. What they have done is mechanized a whole system where you can't talk to other ADOS folks because they can't count. They don't understand time. They don't understand wealth. Because in essence, once you introduce a gig service, you can't tell nobody they ain't got no business.
Yeah.
They making money tonight.
Well, that's true. That's true. And the other problem is that they count gig jobs as being on a gig job as being employed, so they have artificially low unemployment rate.
Come on. Can I say one? Let me say one last thing to you, Juanita. One last thing, Juanita. Let's go back to 2018. JayZ and Beyonce do the On the Run tour too. Well, do people remember that? I think that was the most recent tour, and the tickets was being given away free. Beyonce and JayZ tour tickets being given away for free to fill the empty seats. Tickets to Beyonce and JayZ's latest tour are reportedly being given away for free as the power couple struggle to fill seats. For those people that say, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Here you go, right here. So they pack everybody down here and then they show you that in the video, but they don't show you all this. So you mess around and pay $2,000 for some tickets and all this, they giving these free outside. So I don't understand. If we understand the value now for some of these seats might be zero from just the last tour, why are we still spending our rent money? Hysteria. Go ahead, give me your take on it.
Like I said, it's just, I don't know. When it comes to people like Beyonce, people have cognitive dissonance. It's like their brains work backwards. Because I don't understand how any working person, especially an ADOS working person, can think that it's a wise decision to buy one of those concert tickets. I don't understand it.
Yes, hysteria.
I'll wait for the documentary and see it's free.
Come on. Thank you so much, Juanita. Thank you for calling. You was fired. I'm going to take one last caller. You know, we got to all of our points. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? This is Jason from Miami.
Jason, briefly, just tell me your thoughts on this. I'm going to end out with you.
It's not cognitive dissonance. It's learned hopelessness. So what happens, ADOS people see hope through black celebrities. And because social media makes you feel as though you know these people, like one-to-one, you don't know that they're just one person out of 40 million, so you feel like they're your family while you can't pay for eggs or gas.
Yeah. And what's your take on Diddy doing this Uber commercial?
You know what? The more nuanced part is that black celebrities are like late to the party. So Arabs are doing it with the convenience stores, Asians with the nail salons, black immigrants with colleges and politics. Black celebrities are just jumping on the train now.
Yeah, I think that's I'm gonna be honest. That's a bit of a misdirected answer because, like, let me tell you why. This is something else here. I believe, I believe that it's not that they're late to the party. They are moving from music to poverty exploitation. Their whole thing is to be the control mechanism for this black politics. They're going to be the faucet to shut it off. They're going to be the mechanism which white capital can control you by both giving you aspiration and also giving you the tool to cause your exploitation. What do I mean? So if I give you, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. I'm going to end out. But if I give you Uber, then you're going to drive yourself to death. You ain't gonna do no politics. If I give you Beyonce tickets, you're gonna get in such debt that you're gonna be so stressed, you ain't gonna do no politics. In the end, if I give you these celebrities, you ain't gonna do nothing for yourself. This is Tone Talks. Please go to tonetalks.net, subscribe, donate, share this video. It's time to have this discussion because Diddy doing an Uber commercial for the Super Bowl, selling this labor exploitation, and Beyonce selling tickets to black folks that don't have money for these $1,000 tickets. We can't live on hysteria. And we damn sure can't do no politics while you living on hysteria. Thank you.